Babette. Debbie, you're all wet. Hey, Hazel. You don't like the snow, do you? Looks like they're using that one and that one, but not the basket. So, just goes to show you just never know. Are you coming down? Huh? Are you coming down? Yes. Waiting for something? Well, first I gotta go get the bags of feed from the car. Whew, that's kind of heavy with snow. Better clean that off. I'll get the wagon out of the run. Everything stays nice and dry in here, thank goodness. And this is ashes from our fire pit. Burning all those twigs and brush from the fruit trees when we pruned them last week. Okay. Coming through. Hey, Hyacinth. It's a Bucky. Hi, Lorelei. Goodness, Subaki! What's all that noise for? Sound like a jungle chicken. Okay, let's talk some serious talk. I was at our local feed store today, a couple of them actually, because I was looking for something for my husband for a Valentine's Day present. I know that sounds weird, but I was looking for a copper bracelet because he likes those, you know, wristband kind of thing, because of the health benefits. And so I was looking for a new one for him because his is getting kind of old and tattered. And when I stopped in at the last feed store that I thought might carry them, and I had to get feed there as well, the young man that helped me load the feed in my car said something very interesting and a little disturbing. We were talking about the fact that they had chicks, and they did. They have, you know, if anybody's interested, their feed stores are starting to get chicks. And we were talking about last year and how so many people rushed to get chicks, and that they had a hard time keeping them in stock. As soon as they'd come in, they were just gone, and they'd order like 100 of each breed, and they were just gone. And that this year they're ordering 3 times as many as they ordered last year, hoping they can keep up with the expected demand. They think it's going to be as bad or worse as last year. And I mentioned that yeah, it wasn't too long after that that a lot of people realized that chickens were not a good fit for them, and that they were looking to sell them at first, and then they ended up giving a lot of them away. And he said, oh, I don't know. A lot of people don't really know what they're doing when they get chickens. He said that they had a lot of customers that were very upset last year because after 30 days, their chickens were not laying eggs. The chickens that they bought at 2 days old, that they believed, and I don't know, maybe somebody said something that either they misunderstood, or maybe they talked to somebody that didn't know what they were talking about, but they believed that 2-day-old chicks will be laying eggs in 30 days. If you're one of those people that thinks that, I got news for you. The earliest you will see eggs from even the earliest laying breeds is going to be 6 months. Not 30 days, 6 months. Plan on closer to 8, and in some breeds, 10 months. So you're going to be housing and feeding and cleaning up after them long before you start getting eggs. I know that a lot of people think that chickens are easy and cheap, and that they're the perfect solution, that they'll raise their own chickens and they'll have all their own eggs and it'll be a snap. Not a snap at all. Now, not everybody has as many chickens as I have. A lot of people have many more than I have. And those of us with any level of experience will tell you, chickens are work, and if you're looking to get them to save money on eggs, you won't. And you're gonna not even break even, really. It's like growing a tomato plant and thinking that you're gonna save money on the produce that you grow. And then you realize that the amount of time and money that you have put into growing that tomato plant, you could have bought tomatoes over and over and over again. And the same is true with eggs. If you're raising chickens to save money on eggs, don't. Because you won't. Now, that said, if you're raising chickens, or you want to raise chickens for the best quality eggs, nothing that you can get in a store unless you pay a premium price, and I'm talking upwards of $10 or more a dozen, for high quality, nutritious eggs from free-ranged, cage-free, humanely treated, no steroids, no antibiotics chickens. But the person that raises those chickens is putting expense into them and time into them. They're setting aside space for them. They deal with injuries and illnesses and restocking their chickens because they either get old or they get injured or they get sick and whatever. You're not going to save money, but you will get a high quality egg for your family. Plus you'll have food security, which is why a lot of us did it originally, was for food security. So that no matter what happens in the stores, no matter what happens with supply and demand or the world current events or whatever, if you raise your own chickens, you'll have high quality protein that is continuously replacing. So if that's why you're getting into raising chickens, then I recommend that you do your homework, learn what it is you're getting into, the time frames you're dealing with. You know, how long does it take before a chicken lays eggs? How long does it take before chickens stop laying eggs? And that can be anywhere from 5 to 12 years. I've heard of some rare chickens that have laid up to 12 years. Not consistently, but they still kept laying like an egg every now and then. But for reliable, steady egg-laying hens, plan for 5 years, hope for 8, and maybe you'll get lucky and get 12. But you're going to be feeding and housing and caring for those chickens the whole time. And they also go through a period called their molt. Sometimes the whole flock will go through it once. Sometimes half the flock will go through it once. Sometimes they'll stagger it out. I have chickens that molt at different times of the year. And they will stop laying when they're molting. They will also stop laying if they go broody, which is something that some breeds are more, they have more of a tendency towards. So you'll see that in some of the breed descriptions where it says good setter, or, you know, broody, not broody, whatever. So look for that in your breed descriptions. Really figure out what it is you want. If you just want lots of consistent eggs, then there are some breeds that are very consistent egg layers. Your Leghorns are the top egg layer. They'll lay an egg pretty much every day, and it'll be a large to an extra large egg, and it'll be white. So, you know, if that's what you're looking for, there you have it. If you're looking for a consistent brown egg layer, there's a bunch of different breeds. I like the Buff Orpingtons. They sometimes can go broody, but I haven't had a whole lot of problems with that. You have to figure out what it is you want. But just know that having chickens for eggs takes time, it takes work, and it takes money. And if you're willing to put all of that into it, do your homework, learn what fits you, what it is that you want, then I highly recommend. And I highly recommend that you get chickens. Everybody should have them, in my opinion, but then I'm just partial that way. But don't get them if you think that they're gonna be laying eggs before you put it much in as far as expense. That's not true. And I don't care who tells you that, they're lying to you. So also know that the employees at feed stores don't always know a whole lot about chickens. They know maybe what they've heard, and maybe some of them have experience with chickens, but they have a wide variety of people that work there, and some have no idea about chickens, and some have gotten bad information, and they will pass that on to you. So don't get your information from a feed store employee unless you know they know chickens particularly. So there you go. I'm gonna keep working in here. Gotta finish scraping the droppings boards. Hello, Mochi. Mochi is a perfect example of a chicken that just keeps laying and laying and laying. She is a silver white or a pearl white Leghorn, and she's pretty old. I don't think 50, 60, 70, 21. She is 8 years old, and she's still laying an egg pretty consistently. I expect that at some point she'll start slacking off, and then she'll stop entirely. But yeah, she's a good example of a breed that just keeps laying and laying and laying. Now, I've had some people that have asked me, and I know that this question comes up, how do I know when my chickens are going to lay their first eggs? When are they going to start? Well, there's a few indicators you can watch for that are pretty reliable. First, you're going to want to look for, like on Mochi up there, her comb and wattles are large. Now, not all breeds have the same comb and wattle, but their comb and wattles will get larger and they will turn bright red. That's a good indication that they're at least close, if not already laying. Something else that you'll be able to observe in your chickens is when you reach for them, or another chicken comes up to them, usually it'll be when you reach for them, that they will squat, and you can easily get a hold of them. But they squat because they're laying, which means they're fertile, which means that a rooster can mount them and fertilize their eggs. So you're going to want to watch for bright red comb and wattles and squatting. That's your strongest indicators that your chickens are getting ready to or are already laying. With new egg layers, you're going to want to be aware that they don't readily lay where you want them to. A lot of times they will lay almost anywhere. In fact, you'll have chickens that'll go pretty crazy trying to find a hiding place for their eggs. I've had some very determined chickens, and well, I could talk in another video about ways to encourage them, but you know, you're not always going to get them in your pretty little nesting box right away.